we need to talk. If you're new to my platform, and by new, I mean if you got here from October 2023 onward, you're new, then allow me to introduce myself. My name is Janan. I am a 30-something-year-old suburban mom of 2 kids, and I am a media professional, a writer, and I am an event producer. I have also been making educational content and just fun internet content about Palestine for the last 3 years. One of my specialties is turning anything that's trending into something that is related to Palestine. The goal of my internet work is to ensure that Palestine remains at top of mind for everyone, that it's a part of your daily conversations. I advocate for Palestine and human rights in general, but I am not an activist. I think that is a very noble title that I am undeserving of. And I am trained professionally in journalism and media studies and communication, but I am not a journalist. I think that is also a very honorable and noble title that I am not worthy of. I tell you this to help you set appropriate expectations for me and my platform, because I know what it's like to feel disappointed in people, and I'm going to do my best to make sure you don't feel disappointed in me, even though it's not my job. But I'm a mom, and that's what moms do. I'm starting this conversation because I have had it with a number of artists and creatives, particularly Palestinian ones, who are all feeling the same thing and don't know how to start this conversation. So I'm hoping to do that. One thing about being a content creator that needs to remain at the center of your social media strategy is creativity. Particularly when it comes to Palestinian creators, creativity is something that literally saves your account from being removed from the platform or from things like shadow bans. And while education and cultural appreciation are the main things that I want my audience to take away from my platform through my content, every once in a while you'll see that I post stupid filler type of content. This is to keep my platform and the conversation about Palestine in the algorithm. The algorithm hates Palestine. The algorithm hates Palestinians. So we need to get creative in ways that continue to allow us to pop up on your For You pages and your news feed while you're scrolling aimlessly on social media. Since October, my platform and so many other Palestinian platforms throughout diaspora have shifted. We are all doing our best to answer the call to educate the world about Palestine in ways that matter, in ways that are meaningful, in ways that enact change. A lot of us talk to each other every single day because we're trying to figure out how to split up the work because it cannot be done by one person alone. In addition to present day and historical education, which I think is my niche, I also want to make sure that when people are learning about Palestine, specifically right now when learning about Gaza, that you are still feeling something, that you don't lose your soul in the process of learning about how absolutely depraved humanity can be. In the beginning, people gravitated towards accounts that were only posting these terrible images and videos coming out of Gaza because it shocked your system. We are 9 months into watching footage like that every single day, and I see people becoming desensitized. I see people in my real waking life and on the internet becoming desensitized to the imagery that's coming out of Gaza. As a writer and an artist, my job is to ensure that I am always finding ways to counteract that desensitization. I'm a born and raised American, so I know how the average American brain works. We become desensitized quickly, we are distracted easily, and we lose focus. So my job, again, as an artist, not a journalist, not an activist, as an artist, a writer, I take that imagery that you are being bombarded with to a point where it is strategic. It is making you feel overwhelmed to a point where you feel like you can't fix it and you're just one person and you don't know what to do and you're so overwhelmed. So you go back to your normal everyday life where you can ignore this. You look away and try to get you to feel something through poetry that people can connect with and imagery that they have seen, but they might not have noticed a detail about that they can relate to their everyday life so that you stay connected to this. I'm trying to tether you to the trauma because you have to feel it. You have to internalize this trauma and you have to feel sad and angry about it in order to do something. Even if that something is having a conversation with someone in your life who doesn't know about Palestine or doesn't care about Palestine and getting them to care as much as you do. That's the job of an artist. And I see so many comments like this on artists' pages, specifically Palestinian artists who are just trying to survive through the trauma right now, which I think is really shitty for people to do. And it also opens up another part of the conversation that I think we need to start having. And this is a two-part conversation. The first is that you need to let Palestinians exist. In occupied Palestine, be it 48 territory or the West Bank or in Gaza, Palestine, and in diaspora, you need to let Palestinians exist as we are. We need to also understand the importance of art from an oppressed people. That art is also a form of survival. We can't all be militants. Not all of us are militants. I think it's noble that those of us who are militants are the way that they are, because I don't have that in me, and not everybody has that in them. But that's what will lead us to freedom. I fully acknowledge that. This is why we keep expressing the importance of supporting the resistance. But post-liberation is nothing without art, without culture, without tradition. And the artists, the storytellers, the poets, the musicians, the dancers, the chefs, we are the ones that are keeping the traditions and the culture alive. We keep the records, we tell the stories, we protect them, we protect the culture and protect the art through all of the colonizers' efforts to destroy all of it, because that is an effort of colonization. That's a tactic of colonizers, is to destroy joy and tradition and culture and art of the oppressed people. They want to erase us, not just our physical bodies, but every part of us, our stories, our historical presence, our current presence, so that they can tell people that we never existed. And you do that by convincing a people that art and historical artifact and storytelling and poetry and writings and dance and music don't matter, that you don't need that can take a back seat in the midst of surviving physical violence. But that's not true. You need that to survive. So stop shitting on the artists for doing their jobs. The other part of this conversation that comes from another part of the comment from this person said something along the lines of, this is why pro-Palestinian accounts call her out. If you are one of those people who claims to be pro-Palestinian but is calling Palestinians out, the first thing I have to say to you is take a fucking seat. And the second thing that I have to say to you is ask yourself a question. That question being, why is it necessary for Palestinians to be in positions or situations of extreme tragedy and despair in order for you to feel like we are worthy of your support and your love? If you truly understand Palestine and Palestinians and support us, then you understand that we are not a monolith and that we are deserving of your support across the spectrum. If the entirety of a community and its members need to be in a state of extreme trauma or experiencing extreme oppression in order for you to feel that we are worthy of your support, ask yourself why that is, because it's giving white savior. And remember that white saviorism is a form of white supremacy, and white supremacy is not specific to white folks. It can be upheld by anyone. And this is not to claim that Palestinians, especially not myself, are exempt of criticism or critique or feedback. We're all deserving of that. But if it's coming from a place of others demanding that all we do is exist in a bubble of trauma, then you are partaking in our oppression. This world is trying to wipe us off the planet, and we are just trying to exist. So just let us exist. I hope I've helped you set appropriate expectations for me existing as a human being and for other Palestinians who are just trying to exist. And thank you for your support.